All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to part one of a part two series focused on maintaining productivity and wellness while aging on the farm. My name is Rachel Cochleger-Rem, and I will be leading today's session titled Occupational Therapy, Your Productivity and Wellness Advisor. Before I begin, I would like to introduce the team that worked on this project. 3 students, including myself, Bailey, and Andrea, developed this series. We are occupational therapy students at the University of Minnesota. We developed this series with the help of our professor, Dr. Voss Draper, and Maria Service, who is an occupational therapist and owner of Grounded Evolution OT. Something interesting about the team that I would like to share with you relates to the fact that each member has some personal ties to rural Minnesota and the farming community. I myself have grown up in and continue to live in rural Minnesota. Many of the people that live in the same town as me are farmers. And right now it is summertime, which is my favorite time of the year as sweet corn is available. And there are many dinners that I've had this summer as well as past summers that have involved sweet corn. So sweet corn is definitely one of my favorite things about living in the Midwest is free sweet corn, not free, but definitely some sweet corn available. So here is an overview of today's session. We will be discussing what contributes to identity formation, specifically around farmers, the relationship between identity and wellness, and then lastly, occupational therapy's role in increasing productivity and wellness. Let's start by talking about identity. Identity is shaped by values, beliefs, and engagement in meaningful activities. So what you do, what you value, what you believe shapes the perception you have of yourself. Researchers have been interested in what shapes farmers' identities, and I'd like to share their findings with you today. Please note that these are general findings, and some of the statements may not apply to you, and that's all right. So first, researchers have found that farmers possess a strong connection to land and work. Farmers value working the land and working hard. Oftentimes, these values are passed on to their children, which results in farms being passed down through generations. Additionally, researchers have discovered that independence is highly valued and relying on others may be difficult for farmers. So due to this independent nature and this pride to work hard, farmers will typically work past retirement age. So these are the results of what they found. And once again, these are just general findings. However, on the next couple of slides, I would like you to take a few moments to reflect on your identity. Each slide will contain a question which you can answer on the corresponding worksheet. If you need to, please feel free to pause this video and take the time to answer each question thoughtfully. I'll be here when you get back. So my first question to you is, what do you value? What activities do you engage in on a daily basis that are important to you? And then lastly, how would you feel if you couldn't engage in these activities or fulfill valued roles? So the 3 questions that I asked you relate to identity. I would like to focus on the third question in particular, as we age, we experience the aging process that can interfere with our abilities to engage in valued roles and activities. You may notice a decline in your abilities, whether that's decreased vision or hand dexterity, that make it more difficult for you to be productive on the farm. As a result, our ability to maintain valued roles and engage in meaningful activities can be influenced. So in other words, our identity can be challenged, which can affect all aspects of well-being. It can affect your emotional well-being, your social well-being, your financial well-being, etc. However, I would like to say that unlike droughts that kill crops or a broken tractor that slow down a harvest, wellness is something that we can control. And this is where occupational therapy fits in. Occupational therapy's role is to ensure that individuals are able to do what they want and need to do. There are three basic aspects that we'll look at today: the occupation, the person, and the environment. First off, an occupation. An occupation is any observable activity that is personally meaningful to you. Examples on the farm may include milking the cows every morning or driving the tractor during harvesting season. Other meaningful occupations may include completing self-cares in the morning, like taking a shower, getting dressed, brushing your teeth, or maybe it has something to do with social. So participating in family game night or meeting up with friends. So, in other words, an occupation is anything that you find meaningful. As occupational therapists, we observe these meaningful activities to assess where we can encourage participation increasingly. When we look at the person, we look at factors that relate to the person's physical, mental, and emotional status. We want to understand what skills are already present and where we can improve. For example, you may experience some increased aches and pains in your back while bending to pick up hay bales. An occupational therapist would observe you performing this activity and maybe suggest some safer body mechanics, such as lifting from your legs instead of your back, or introducing some stretchings to help strengthen your back muscles. Lastly, the environment plays a role in the ability to engage in occupations, as several aspects can support participation while others can hinder it. Using the example of hay bales again, the transportation of hay bales using a baler is a lot less challenging and a lot less stressful on your body than manually picking up the hay bales yourself. So by using a baler instead of using your body, you may experience decreased back pain. So in overview, understanding the occupation, the person, and the environment provides occupational therapists with a holistic view of the person's needs and being able to better provide tools and resources to the person so that they can accomplish what they want to accomplish. Relating this topic back to identity, occupational therapists help support the farmer's value of independence by looking to aid in healthy aging while maintaining productivity on the farm. If you want specific topics and solutions related to healthy aging and longevity, please see Part 2 titled Practical Solutions and Maintaining Productivity and Wellness by Bailey. One study that I think is important to mention is called the Blue Zone Study, as it relates to healthy aging and longevity. Regions around the world where individuals live longer, healthier lives are called blue zones. When studying the blue zones, 9 characteristics were discovered by researchers, and these include moderate to regular physical activity, life purpose, reduced stress, moderate caloric intake, a plant-based diet, moderate alcohol intake, especially wine, engagement in spirituality or religion, engagement in family life, and engagement in social life. This study is important to mention as the formation of healthy habits by adopting a couple of these 9 lessons can positively impact longevity and continued productivity on the farm. In other words, by maintaining wellness, we can live longer and continue to be independent while working on the farm. If you're interested in learning more about the Blue Zone study, I provided a link at the bottom of your worksheet for your reference. Before we wrap up this session, I would like you to reflect on 1 or 2 areas on the Blue Zone lessons that you would like to implement to improve and make a plan on how you'd like to accomplish these. If you need to, please pause this video for additional time. And if you get stuck, go ahead and refer to Bailey's webinars for creative solutions. So once again, I'll give you just a couple seconds to think about a couple of these that you might find interesting and developing a plan on how you could maybe implement these into your life. So the 3 main takeaways from this lesson today are: 1, identity is tied to beliefs, values, and ability to carry out activities of daily living. 2, wellness is tied to longevity and productivity. And lastly, occupational therapy can be a resource for farmers to maintain health and wellness. Before I go, I'd like to leave you with this quote: "Man, through the use of his hands, as they are energized by mind and will, can influence the state of his own health." So basically, you are in control of your health. Here are my references. And lastly, I'd really like to thank you for taking the time to listen to this lesson. I hope that the information was meaningful and that you're able to take some of the information learned and apply it to your own life. So thank you for listening. And if you would like more information, please see part 2. Thank you.